The other thing we wanted to talk about tonight, man, the heavy hitter that we wanted to talk about was this AI track, man, that has just been crazy. When you sent it to me, man, I had to listen to it twice. I'm like, this can't be AI. This is 90% crazy. You know what I'm saying? This song is amazing. I want to play just a little bit of it, fair use, just so you guys can hear the authenticity of it, even though it's AI. And I got to get your opinion on this, DJ Skandalous.
I still ride on my enemy, sipping on yak and Hennessy. Y'all niggas fell off, but my true soldiers remember me. Frozen in time, a 9 about to go off. Money make these niggas go soft and about to show off. A true thug riding in my drop top Benz. I show no love. Ain't no need to be friends, so witness my cold spread.
So that was the thing that was crazy.
Yeah.
Pac song with DMX, it sounded just like him.
And then you have DMX referencing Tupac getting killed with Keefy D.
It had Keefy D in the joint.
Yeah.
Crazy. What was your thoughts on this record, man, and like putting these two legends together? Obviously, both of them are passed. There's even a picture that we have, which is on the thumbnail, and also in your promo, showing these two dudes, they actually met, you know what I'm saying? And DMX was potentially going to be on Death Row. What's your thoughts on this record, man, and how scary is this to you, man?
Well, here, I'll break down the background with AI. So AI, there's a lot of YouTube channels, whether they take Drake's voice, they take Kanye's voice, and what they'll do is have a program, or essentially like a program, and they'll map out their voice based on some reference files. And what they'll do is create a clone version of their voice. Then they'll be able to use the AI to overlap any existing vocals from any song. So you can have Kanye do 50 Cent in the club, and it will map the vocals totally where it sounds as natural as if Kanye did it himself. And that's what we've been seeing with a lot of this. But the real beauty of AI is that you can make an original song, a reference track. It's kind of like a reference track what people hand in to other rappers and record labels. You can make an original song, and then you can have that rapper or Tupac's voice or DMX's voice overlap the reference file, and then you can put out a totally new song. Now, there's some AIs that don't sound as good. It comes down to whoever's rapping the song, if they flow like Tupac, if they have the same cadence as Tupac. And I feel like this is the one AI that's very much similar to the way Tupac sounded in maybe like 94, 95, 96. To me, it's still lacking a little bit of a passion. But the person that did this is a longtime Tupac forum member like me, and he also did a lot of remixes called DOP Funk. He was very much known for recreating Tupac's instrumentals. He was very much known for sounding like Nate Dogg on the chorus, and that's why he has a Nate Dogg AI that sounds just like Nate Dogg, because this guy already had Nate Dogg's voice. So he's actually doing a reference file where he's rapping as Tupac, 50 Cent, Snoop, and their style, and then he's singing as Nate Dogg, and he transformed it all into a collab, which is pretty damn amazing.
It's insane. Natasha Salute, she's in the building. She said, I'm not opposed to AI. I think it should always come with a disclaimer, though, so there's no confusion.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Plus, the AI engineers should always want to get their credit. Facts. What do you think about what Natasha's saying? Salute to you being in the building.
Well, see, I think what DOP Funk is doing is amazing. It just shows the true power of AI and what you could possibly do with it. However, I do not think it's right for anybody to be releasing Tupac AI as an official album. Like if the Tupac Estate came out with a new album and had all AI verses, that stuff that he didn't even write down, I think that's a bit disingenuous to his legacy, because he already has 130, 150 unreleased songs that you have not put out. And it's a big difference between having an AI do someone else's lyrics in Tupac's voice or doing his own lyrics. I feel like you can't really be allowed to be putting the words into other people's mouths, and really that's what it's come down to. Like Ice Cube says, if you use my voice, I'm going to sue your ass, right? I feel like there has to be some type of legislation here, because I could go and I'd say, hey, I'm going to be the next Drake, and I'll just take Drake's voice and put it over my own song, and maybe that's how I get popular. And then, there's going to come a time where people can live perform with this shit, right? And that's even going to be more scary. Now, I think there's a way that they can utilize it and then be respectful. Well, DOP Funk, he did Tupac's spoken poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And Tupac never talked about that poem. He only wrote it down. I feel like that's where it can be a real benefit. Or if you take the AI, maybe you create layers under Tupac's vocals to make it sound better, or a custom hook or something that he didn't have a hook to. I think that's where it could be. But just doing a whole album with verses that Tupac didn't even write about, I don't think it should be done. I think the record industry should avoid that, because they're just going to make everybody more lazy.
Well,
and then they're going to be resurrecting all these artists that didn't even have the work ethic like Tupac and come out with new albums like Pop Smoke.
does it devalue the actual original vocals and tracks, and also the unreleased stuff that hasn't even came out? Because some of this stuff even sounds better than that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem. See, you could say the same thing about remixes. Like what I do does remix devalue the original, and that's why I changed the name. I changed the whole beat. But I feel like what I do is it helps bring in new fans that weren't exactly exposed to Tupac's original catalog. So then when I talk about Tupac, or I display his original, or I talk about his unreleased music and his original album plans on my Facebook, it gives insight to these fans that otherwise wouldn't have come across Tupac, because I have so many people, so many young kids and people all in Australia, Russia that found my work, and they say, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, DJ Skandalous, for saving my life, because I was going off a bad path and I wanted to hurt myself. You know, I had this young girl from Australia. She was 9 years old. It was a couple years ago. And she said that she was getting bullied in school and she felt like it ended her life. And it was my song, If I Die Young, with Tupac's vocals from Life Goes On, that saved her life. And like years later, she came back and messaged me and said, I'm so thankful you put that song out. And that's why I put everything into having this stream here, this podcast here, this channel, this remix. So anybody that comes at me and say I'm doing this for money or whatever, fuck you, because I do this. I love Tupac. I try to educate on Tupac and his life. I could be a little bit biased because he is my favorite, but when Tupac moved reckless, I will tell you. When Tupac was immature, I would tell you that. And there are some moments in his life where he was a little bit immature, but he was young. You got to think of how you would act at 35 compared to the way you act at 20. It's a totally different ball game. You're not going to be moving the same way. So I think it's a little bit scary in terms of AI, because you got to put a disclaimer on this and say, hey, this is fake. This is not the views of this artist, right? You don't want Tupac rapping about Donald Trump and shit. 2024 election, you know, and they could possibly do that. Maybe after everybody's dead, they'll start having all these artists do crazy shit. And I think that's where it tarnishes the brand, because this is not what these artists wanted.
Now you can have the vocals saying anything that you really want that doesn't even agree with what the artist thinks. You know what I'm saying?
Now, here's where it could also be useful. You know that Tupac Resurrection film where they had it in his own voice, it pieced together vocals. This is where AI can come in. It can clean that all up and have it all in the same pitch, all in the same tone, and it won't sound so choppy. You could have artists in their own documentaries with their own voice, their biographies and shit, and it'll be just like them. And I think that's where the true potential is. But how you go about getting rights to the voice and shit, there needs to be new legislation, because then anyone else can take advantage of this.
Because your vocals basically just almost like your fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? So again, you're going to have to almost copyright, like, as a artist, as an actor, you're almost going to have to copyright your voice. You know
and there's no copyright for that yet.
Right. Like I even saw today where I was playing PS5 with my nephew. They have the actors from the movies playing in the video games now. You know what I'm saying? So again, they're like, well, we don't have to even do that anymore. We can have them say a phrase and then go in and just copy everything like on a character.
Yeah, you know, like James Earl Jones. He doesn't even do the voice of Darth Vader anymore. It's all AI now.
And are you even getting a check for that? You know what I'm saying? So again, man, salute to this dude.
If I was going to do a Tupac album, I'll definitely get this guy involved, because this guy produces amazing beats. He knows how to take Tupac's original unfinished beats and polish them off and make them sound like as if Tupac was going to release it now. Like, he's phenomenal. This guy should be like working with Jay-Z and 50 Cent and all these other rappers, being the hit boy on that side of things, because that guy is truly talented. So I'll give him all the credit in the world to that. Yeah,
like I said, man, salute to DOP Funk. This was crazy. Go check it out, man. Go search him on YouTube, man. This is definitely a banger, man. Even the hook was crazy. So again, salute to him on that.